Good morning. My name is Laura Bishop, and I'm a Technology Integration Specialist for the district. My job is to assist teachers as they infuse their classroom with technology that supports learning. Here in Springdale, we are in our 5th year as a one-to-one district. We are technology strong, and our classrooms altogether contain 23,000 Chromebooks, 3,000 iPads, 1,800 laptops, 1,225 interactive whiteboards. In order to gauge the impact of the technology on teaching, this district has adopted the SAMR model. SAMR is an acronym for substitution, augmentation, modification, and redefinition. At the substitution and augmentation level, the use of the technology is considered to enhance the task or activity. And at the modification and redefinition levels, the technology actually transforms the lesson. If you cannot perform the task without the technology, it is considered a redefinition of the task, which is utilizing the full power of your technology. If the goal for your technology this year is to transform a few more of your activities and lessons into modification or redefinition, then your next step might be to look at expanding your students' learning beyond the walls of your classroom. You could do this by providing an opportunity for them to participate in a global collaboration or experience a connection with an expert in the field. Either of these will bring more relevance to the task. If you're interested in that as your goal for this year for technology, we can provide some resources that will help you make these connections. Maybe this year for technology, all you want to do is get more out of your Google Suite. Maybe you haven't used add-ons or extensions before. Maybe this year you'd like to get more out of your interactive whiteboard. Promethean is now, we used to use Active Inspire, which is now turning to Classflow. With this tool, you can control what your students' monitor looks like can match what you're doing on the Promethean. Maybe you have a content-specific tech tool. If you're math, maybe you want to use Desmos. If you're in art, maybe you would like an art app. Maybe you just need more resources or new resources for digital citizenship. In December, if you would like to join the Code for an Hour, we have some coding resources. Or maybe you just need a fresh idea for tech use. I'm going to take a look, if you will, let's take a look at our technology integration page on our district website. You will find my contact information there if anything here is of interest and you would need some assistance. On this side, I'm going to use a particular tool or resource down here. And the SAMR model we were talking about, let me back up for just one second. That's right here. That is an introduction to SAMR presentation up there in the top left, if you want to review that. But today I'm going to use a tool off of this page called the Choice Board Tech Tool. And I'm going to set up a scenario for you that we are doing a classroom, that we are doing a lesson. This is the first page of the Tech Tool Choice Board. It's just an introduction. The second one gives you a little instructions for using this particular tool. And then the third one is a link to other slides inside of this slideshow. And what it is it's got different tools categorized. And when you would, for example, if you were interested in using an infographic and we came over here and we selected infographics, it would take us to another page in the slideshow. And each of these is a link to those particular tools. So you or your student, either one, can use this for choices in tech tools. So I'm going to set up a little scenario where we're teaching a class, and like any good lesson, we're going to start by assessing and activating our students' prior knowledge, sometimes known as APK. And to do that today, I was going to use a tool that is usually a multi-use tool called Padlet. And, whoops, hang on here. Hang on. What's happened? Let me get back with my tool. I'm going to use a multi-use tool called, and I got that closed out. Hang on, guys. I'm going to open back up that choice board. I want you to see my tabs up here. And I was going to scroll down and use Padlet for a poll with my students. So I'm going to open up that tab. And I'm going to ask them a few questions, and I'm going to ask them to respond, and this way each one of them will have a voice. Then I'm going to have them jigsaw some information. I'm going to use a couple of resources. I'm going to use Citable, which is a science source, And the other one that I want to use is I'm going to use OpenStax, which is a source for textbooks. Then I'm going to have them collaborate on a Google slide. I'm going back to the Tech Tool Choice Board because I know that is also linked there. To do their, they're going to collaborate and communicate and kind of come together with their information as a rough draft. But before they're finished, I want them to, I'm going to give them, actually going to give them the Tech Tool Choice Board to use themselves. And I'm going to have them produce an infographic, and I'm going to give them the choice. They can use any of these they like. But let's say the student decided to use PictoChart. This one, by the way, has some very cool interactive math pieces. All right. And then they're probably not going to finish all this work today, but I want a ticket out the door for the day. So I am going to have them use a tool called Flipgrid. Some of you may have used, I know we talked about this a lot in our district last year, and some of you may have been using Flipgrid, and at that point, not all of Flipgrid was free. But now, Flipgrid's kind of done the opposite of a lot of what tech tools do, and this one has gone totally free. Okay, and what I'm going to do is have each student, I want to see each student's voice. So I am going to, I'm going to make sure that I can hear everybody on this one, so I'm going to let them go ahead and present their ticket out the door on the Flipgrid. All right, so let's look at this. Whoa, wait a minute, what have I done? Let's see, I've gotten Flipgrid. There's one tab. Uh-oh. We've done an infographic. There's 2 tabs. We've done a tech tool choice. 3 tabs. Google Slides, 4 tabs. Oh, 2 resources, 5, 6. We've done the Padlet, 7. Oh my goodness. A little confusing, I'm so sorry. I hate it. What if we could eliminate all that tab hopping? Wow, it would have been nice. What if your students could make an early start when they know they have homework? What if you could view student achievement on any standard or learning objective with a single click? What if you could see what your student needed to do tonight? Now, what perspective am I looking at there? What my student needed to do tonight as the teacher. Oh, wait, that's the parent's view. What if a parent could see what their student needed to do tonight? What if you could grade anywhere and anytime without paper? Pick up your smartphone, your tablet. What if you could never lose your homework as a student? What if all parents, student, faculty, and staff had one communication point? What if you could provide instant feedback on tests? What if you could have only one place to go for everything you need? What if you had Schoology? Wait a minute, what is Schoology? Let's hear from the co-founder, one of the co-founders of Schoology.
We created Schoology in 2009 really with the mission of continuously advancing what's possible in education. At the click of a button, you can personalize education, you can assess student strength and weakness, you can grow student outcomes like you've never been able to do before. Schoology is a learning management system that simplifies the teaching and learning process by connecting people with all of the tools that they need in one simple platform. Schoology has made it possible for the boundaries of the classroom to be extended beyond just the brick and wall. The reality is that people are online all the time. Students and learners have devices in their pockets, and they expect that same sort of immediacy from education. The goal for us has been to be able to deliver that kind of experience anytime, anywhere, and on any device. One of the core things that's great about Schoology is the focus on communication and collaboration. And what we've tried to do is make that a core part of the platform so that it's infused in students' learning and teachers' teaching every single day. Those are 2 elements that are so critical for success in life in general. We see it all the time where educators are actually collaborating with other educators, not just within the same institution, not even in the same region, but potentially even broader around the world, across the country. And they're sharing not only ideas, but resources, best practices, even sometimes full lessons and units that can be used in other people's coursework. Everything is right at their fingertips.
So what is Schoology? Here's a formal definition for you. Schoology is a learning management system, which we call an LMS, that has all the tools our institution needs to create engaging content, design lessons, and assess student understanding. Actually, Schoology could be a one-stop shop and avoid what I just experienced, open up 7 tabs and trying to manage that. That's a lot to manage. What all can we do with Schoology? It's a place you can keep all your courses and content. It's a place where students can participate. It's a good place for sharing resources, not only with your students, but with all other teachers. It's a good place for communication. The volleyball team, the choir team, the after-school coding team, teacher to teacher, your PLC. And it has tons of apps integrated, including Google and YouTube. It's a very secure place. Privacy and security is of ultimate care for Schoology. It is a great place to keep all of your resources. It's like having your filing cabinet that you used to have next to your desk. Now you can keep it in the cloud. There are endless possibilities with Schoology. So I know this is our 5th year starting to one-to-one. We've been a Google district. Some of us are getting very comfortable with Google. So I know the question is, how does Google and Schoology mix? How do they work together? Let's hear it from some people who use both.
Before Schoology, we never had classrooms collaborating around the country, and now I would say that is pretty regular in our district.
Our teachers were starting to become very frustrated. Every time we would introduce a new technology and say we're not using X anymore, now we're going with Y. And when we introduced Schoology, it was great because we didn't say we're giving up Google. It said we're still using Google, but now we're going to be able to do more because we're going to take Google and integrate it with Schoology in our LMS.
Initially, I wasn't using Schoology as much as I was using Classroom, but now that I know that it can offer me better organizational structure than Classroom, I would have probably used it much sooner.
When I first started using Google Classroom, what I really liked about it was that it was really easy to use. There were only a couple of things that you could do with it, and I think I liked that because I was new. So I started to use it, and I started to see some flaws. The reason why I started using it became the reason why I had to find something new. I tried out Schoology. The combination of using Google and Schoology together has really been able to move my classroom forward.
I think that they're both great tools, but they accomplish different things. And so I'm able to really accomplish what I want using Schoology.
But it's all housed within Schoology, where students do their work within Schoology, and the community is in Schoology. So it's one way in which you can create a blended lesson that's differentiated and personalized for students.
Schoology is the way to go for the kids to stay organized. I think it's easier for them to manage their learning experience. About 8 or 9 of my kids are special ed, and I have a little boy, and he has a lot of difficulties with his short-term working memory. And his mom, she said, "You don't understand how this has totally leveled the playing field for him academically." It really is amazing to see the growth through the use of the technology.
We've looked at our analytics, and it has been mind-blowing to watch how Schoology has spread. I often say it's like wildfire.
Okay, so as you can tell, Schoology is a huge tool. It's a lot to take in. So we need to find a starting point. I'm thinking communication is our best avenue. We're getting ready to embark on our journey into Schoology, But before we do that, I'm just going to give you an overview of what we're going to do. The first thing we're going to do is access Schoology. When that happens, I'm going to give everybody plenty of time to get on. Then we're going to navigate around Schoology. Then we're going to look at your courses. Then we're going to join a principals group. Your principal already has a group set up for you. Then we're going to show you how you can customize your profile. And of course, you might want to modify notifications. And then I'm going to show you one of the most important things you'll need to know as a beginner is how to access support. Are we ready? All right, so let's all log into Schoology. So if you will please open up a tab and go to learn.sdel.org. Once you do that, you may, if you have more than one account, you may see several accounts associated with it. This is a Google single sign-on. You need to be sure to use your district credentials. So select your district credentials. I'm going to give everybody 3 minutes. Okay, I understand that maybe some of our new teachers are not able to get logged in. Let me give you a little bit of information about how those users are provisioned into Schoology. They come through eSchool. So if you're brand new and you may not have all of your information in eFinance or eSchool yet, you may not have your account. If you're having problems, we really want to know. We want to get everything straightened out. We want to follow up with you. So I've created a little form here. And if you guys who cannot get logged in, or if you think there's something wrong with your account, anything you want to express to me, and you want to get it officially to me, please use this form. I used a little Google shortener, goo.gl with a /, and this part is case sensitive, so you'll need a capital N, then a lowercase g, and then P as in Papa, a capital F, 8, and a lowercase g. On that form, please just give me your name and as much information as you can. The very last comment, the very last part of the form asks for additional concerns or comments, I believe. So if you will just express that to me, then I can capture all that and we can follow up. If for some reason you're not on and you couldn't get logged into Schoology, if you will, from this point forward, please just scoot over and kind of watch a neighbor, if you will. All right, so I'm going to go over and log into Schoology myself real quick. Okay, so this should be your landing spot. Yours may not quite be like mine because you may not have you won't have the same groups and courses that I do, but this should be your navigation bar should look the same, and these two tabs. So anytime you come into Schoology, this will be where you are, and anytime you want to get back here, this logo will bring you back to this point. Right now, I believe everybody will have Springdale Schools, but we are working on branding, so your school will have its own logo there eventually. All right, so this is the home page, and here you'll have recent activity. So this tab is open, and really this is just a news feed of the things that are going on in groups or courses that you're associated with. This next tab over is your course dashboard. So it's a quick way to get to the courses that are associated with your account. I have a few courses here, and you will notice that all of these courses have a little badge, except for this bottom one down here. When you see that little badge, that means you are a course administrator. When you don't, that means you're acting in that course as a student. Right now, you will probably be seeing your courses for Monday. All right, so this is kind of the formal, just kind of the entry where you can get to your courses quickly. Up at the top on the navigation board, you will see there's actually a courses tab. When you select it, you still see your courses. They're just in a little different arrangement. From there, you can access any of these easily, or if you go over and select My Courses, you can get a different view of those courses, and this allows you to edit or work with any of those courses. Okay, so this is kind of the formal part of your of Schoology. This is where you have all your activities, assignments, and grades for your classroom. This is basically your classroom. Then this next tab over is Groups. And this is the communication point that we're really going to focus on. In a little bit here, we're going to come back and have you join that principals group. For now, we're just going to get an overview, and then we'll come back and do that. But if you look at these groups, it's the same thing. I've got 4 groups here, and 3 of these have a badge, which means that I am an administrator, or I can control what goes on in those groups a little more. And this one is just one where I am just a member of a group. The next tab over, so this is your communication. You may want to start your volleyball team's communication here. You may want to start your PLC's communication here. The next tab over is Resources. And this is kind of like, we said that it's like an online repository. So this is where you'll keep all your instructional materials. Once you get to Resources, there are several different functions there. But this is just kind of like if you had your filing cabinet and you were pulling things out, that's where this is, but it's in the cloud. If we move a little further right on that navigation bar, you'll see a little magnifying glass, and just like with any website, you could do some searching on the site. If we move a little over with the 4 square, that is an App Center, and I would like to invite you guys all to go ahead and click that App Center, if you will, and then click App Center again, because I would like for you to just take a look at how many tools are integrated with Schoology. You know that tab problem I was having earlier? All of these tools can be embedded, and even if they aren't associated here, you can use embed code in Schoology so that you don't have to move around to another tab or another site. So you can see there are quite a few tools already associated with Schoology. All right, now I'm back up to the navigation bar. And I'm going to move over one more tab, and this is a calendar. This calendar will give you all the due dates on your courses and information that you've accumulated in Schoology in one spot. You can take this calendar and download it to your Google Calendar if you would like, but you cannot do vice versa. You cannot bring Google up into Schoology's calendar, which I don't know that you'd want to do that anyway. This next icon over is for messages. This is why you wouldn't even have to leave. If you wanted to send a quick message to another teacher or a student, you wouldn't even have to leave Schoology to do that. You could go right here and do a new message. And then it keeps track of the message you've already gotten or received or given. Move over one more icon on the navigation bar, and this is where you would have any notifications. Anything with your courses and all that, or groups. Then over just one more, and this is where you can set your profile settings. So let's just take a look at that real quick. Over to the right of your name, there's a little drop-down arrow. These will be the accounts that you're associated with. You probably just have one right now. And then down here at the bottom is your profile. So if you want to fix your profile real quick, let's take 1 minute and let you insert a photo if you like, or at least just see how we could. So there you would click profile, and that's where you could add your picture and any information you might want to have. You might have to click edit first. And you can tell what subjects you teach, what levels you teach, your position, and a short biography if you're interested. Here's where you can have your contact information, if that's something you want to share there. And then you could just save changes. Another thing you'll probably want to know about this little downward caret is that there in settings, this is where you can change those settings. Something very important on these tabs would be your notifications. Every time a student posts to a group or another teacher posts to a group, you may not want to know about that. Every time somebody posts something in your course, you may not want to know about that. You may not want to receive an email about that right away. I shouldn't say you don't want to know about it, but you won't want to receive an email. So you could go here and turn all of those off or on as you prefer. Like for group updates, anything within the school, and anything personal. Okay, so that's an important thing to remember if you start getting too many emails. All right, now what I'm going to show you next is extremely important. Our district has paid extra for 1 year for us to have this, so we've got to start using it right away. And it is our support button. If everybody will just scroll, it doesn't matter what page you're on in Schoology, you can always just scroll to the very bottom. And once you hit that support button, you'll see a little pop-up. And if you're going to create a group, for example, I would probably just come here to the Help Center to get step-by-step directions. So I've just selected Help Center, and it has a search bar, and you can search for system-specific user types. But I'm just going to leave it general, and I'm going to put create a group and see what pops up. And here's a guide to Schoology groups. I also have some community comments that you sometimes might be interested in looking if you're having problems or want to troubleshoot. And then this is further links. So am I actually creating a group, or I'm looking at group resources? And it will give you step-by-step instructions. Click groups, select my groups, step-by-step. And you will notice up here at the top that when you select that help guide, it always opens it in a second tab, which is very useful because then you can switch back and forth as you're following those step-by-step instructions. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Schoology and talk to you for just a minute about something very important on this. This is the part that I think you're going to love. This will make you want to use Schoology because even if you get stuck, someone is right beside you to help you at any moment. And that is the live chat. So let's say I'm having a problem and I just want to get someone right now. I'm at home and it's midnight, but I want help. I could select live chat, go to live chat. We have 24/7. This is something that's just available to the teachers. It's not for our learners, just for our teachers. I could type my question there and someone will respond quickly. Every time I've used it, it's been quickly, and I've had teachers using it already, and it's been a magnificent tool and support. Okay, so that's a really quick overview. We've gone through the entire navigation bar, and then at the only reason you need to go, well, there's some other things down here, but the main reason you might, as a beginner, want to go to the bottom of this page, or any page you're on, is to find support. All right, so now, we said we were going to concentrate. This is a huge tool, and we said we were just going to concentrate on a few things. So let's just concentrate on joining a group. So what you're going to do is go to groups, and the group you're going to join was made by your principal. So we're going to need a code to join it, which I'll show you here in a minute in case you're already ahead of me. But you're going to go to groups, and then over to the far right, you'll select My Groups, and then you're getting ready to join a group, so select Join Group, okay, and you should get this box that says Access Code. Once you're there, these are the codes by school. So right now we're talking to secondary. So you'll look over to the right, and let's say that you are at Lakeside this morning and you're ready to join the group that your principal has created for you. This is the code you will put in that box. Let me tell you that these codes are not case sensitive, and they don't even care if you put the dash in. So you can just start typing the code in. And we shall give you a minute and a half to do that. Okay, so hopefully we've got a lot of people starting communication already with those groups. Right, I'm going to switch back over to Schoology here. Hopefully you're joined your group. So now when you select groups, you should have at least one group there. All right, so let's say that that's one group, but you want to look for some resources outside of what you are creating at this point. For example, tomorrow the health people will be joining a group which will provide their resources for their courses, and so they will get instructions for that tomorrow. Let's do this. Those are my groups. Let's look at the school groups. There's a few there. I don't think any of those are active yet. They all look like they have one member, but we're getting some things set up there. And the next tab over is where you might find some things you want to look at today in the public groups. I went ahead and joined this Schoology Educator group, and you may find one that suits you. So just take just a few seconds here and look through those, see if there's anything you would like to join. If you decide you want to join, the little people sign right to the right of the icon on each square will join you with that group, because these are all open groups. Maybe if you're a math person, you're interested in this join group, the math group, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, I'm going to click back up to groups. And I'm going to go in this one called Sandbox. It's just a play group. I'm just going to look a little closer here at groups. One thing you can do is you can look and see who the members are. You can build an album. So if maybe you make a group with your parents and you're an elementary teacher and you want to, or even secondary or a team teacher, and you want to share photos there of what's going on in your classroom. Eventually your parents will be connected and they can see those albums. You could also store resources here if you like, for shared resources. Maybe your PLC makes a group. If your PLC, one of the things that I was going to suggest is that your PLC may want to make a group and start sharing those resources. If you decide you want to do that, of course you go to My Groups, but this time instead of saying join a group, you'd actually go to create a group. Once you're there, you could name the group, write a brief description, and then let's talk for a second about privacy, just so you'll know. If you selected organization for your group, that means anybody in the school, the entire district could see that group. If you select school, then that of course would limit it to your school. But if you select group, that limits it to just the members of the group. And I'm not sure what no one means, because to me that doesn't seem like a group. Okay, so I'm not going to create one right now, but that's where you would go if you decide to create a group. Now let's look for a moment at resources. When you get to resources, you have several filing cabinets more or less in your resources. This would be your personal resources, things that you are making. This would be public resources, things that you could gather from. You could add any of these that you like. Let you look through those for just a second. You may find something you want to look at right away. You can see there's several pages. There was a lot of great resources there. Then if I go to group, it'll show me the groups that I have. Right now, these are the groups I have. You should have your principals group. Hopefully you'll have your PLC group soon. And then if I go just a little further down here on the left side, I can see apps. And you may have the Google Drive app, and it may be asking for permission to access your Google Drive. If that's something that you are sure that you know you will want to grab resources from, you could go ahead and connect your Google Drive now by giving it permission. Anytime you are in a third party, you always have to give them permission to access that. Okay, so now your Google Drive will be connected. And like I said, I could go down here and I could pick anything out of my Google Drive I wanted to, without leaving and going over to Google Drive. Very handy. Okay, so that's your resources. Now, if you're going to start building things for your course, what I would do is always build everything in your personal resources. That way you've got your original copy. These resources can be made available in the group as well, but you've got what you built right in your own file cabinet that nobody else has access to. So let's say that I wanted to add a resource. We're not going to get deep into this today. We'll probably do this next time, but this is just to give you an idea of some of the resources that you could add. Schoology actually has two types of resources. Some of these are interactive and some are informational. The interactive ones would be like the add assignment, add test and quiz, add an assessment, and then also add discussion. So all of those could be graded, and the student is interactive with those. Then the ones that would be informational would be like add assessment, add a file, add a page. I like add a page. You know what I was doing earlier today when I had the Padlet and the Google Slide and the two resources going? Actually, it would be better if I had added a page, because then everything would be in view on one page. It wouldn't be in a stream, and they could just access everything and move around as they pleased between those two. And I'm going to show you what that looks like here in a minute. Let's say that I am going to add an assignment. I just want to show you some of the capability here. You could write a quick name. You could write a quick description. Then at the bottom down here, and you notice this looks a lot like Google, so you'll be very, very familiar with how you can edit any of your text here. This first icon is a file, so if there's something stored on my computer I needed to use, I could grab it at this point. This next one is a link. So here I can either link, or you know how we said you could embed, like say the flip grid earlier. Let's say I was going to use a flip grid. I would actually take that flip grid and embed the code here so that we didn't have to go over to Flipgrid to use it. It's completely integrated. Okay. And even if it doesn't say that it's integrated in that App Center, if you can get that embed code, you can put it here. And then put the title. And then I would attach it. Then this third icon over, this is your resources. This is where, like, okay, I need to grab something from out of my Google Drive, so it's considered an app here. So I would go to Apps, and then once again I could see all those resources. Okay. So you can see the convenience of tab hopping here. It's all in one concise spot. So let's say that I decided I would like to create a rubric here. I could do that right here. It'll save that rubric. I could use it the next time and attach it to another assignment. I could allow the student to see it or not see it. Some of the options I would have for this assignment is I could attach learning objectives. So you can see, as you start to build more assignments and discussions, every time you go ahead and attach those learning objectives or standards, then there's a feature in grading in Schoology where you could go with one click, and this could really inform your PLCs, because you could look at your students, several students at a glance, with your standards on one axis and your students on the other axis, and those standards being color-coded, you could tell who had mastered those and who had not. So let's say that I'm going to add a state standard here. You know, K through 8, we've got to add computer science standards, you know, cross-curricular. So I'm going to find Arkansas. And I'm going to go down to curriculum framework. And I'm going to look for computer science. There it is. And I could add that right there if I wanted to. And then that particular assignment would be added, would be tagged, I'm sorry. This opens up just another set of information that you might want to associate with this assignment. And like I said, I know this is a lot today. We're just giving you an overview of what can be done with Schoology. So that's just adding resources. So you've got several options there. And like I said, if you decide you want to go ahead and start building some resources, please do that in your personal group, personal filing cabinet, personal resource. Then you could save it. You could go over here and share it with your group. For example, this made up ASDF. I always type that when I'm just making something up. I know I can trash it. Here I could add it directly to my course if I wanted, or I could copy it to a group. This is just the name of one of my groups I have here. Okay, or put it in directly into a folder in that group. Okay, so it's easy to move things around once you get them in there, but I would use this as your home base. Okay, so that's a little bit on resources. Now let's talk about courses for just a moment, if we can, please. I know that you have the courses and you don't have the members. And as you know, there's all these last-minute schedule changes. So on Monday morning, you should have all the members to your course. So how did we get to those course members? You can either select the course and it'll turn up over here to the left, and I could go down and see what members I have. Thinking about course structure, it's nothing to worry about today, but it might be a conversation that's coming up fairly soon in your PLCs is, how do we organize this? Do we want a student on our campus as they move from class to class? Do we want those folders to look similar? I mean, is 9 weeks going to be the first folder? Is Unit 1 going to be the first folder? Are they going to be color-coded? that just may be a discussion that you're going to have there on your campus, if that's something that you think would make a convenience for students as they start to begin, or as they begin to use Schoology. Another thing that's available is that you can award students with badges. The analytics feature is going to be nice, and like I said, we're showing you a lot today. Just keep in mind that I'm in a course that has no students, so we can't see anything here. But just keep in mind that these are just all possibilities with Schoology, and like we said, it's a one-stop shop. You can do this all in one spot. You could do it from your phone. There's an app that goes along with Schoology as well. All right. These courses then will be provisioned. You should see those members on Monday. What happens is it syncs with eSchool daily, twice daily, once at 1 p.m. and once at 1 a.m. So if something's not there and you just need for it to be there, you might just wait until after 1 o'clock and perhaps it will be there. All right. Now I'm going to see what the time is. I am going to invite you guys, actually, I have a course here called Extend Your Classroom to the Cloud. This is something that we're going to invite you guys to in the very near future. But right now I'm going to slip back over here and talk to you for a minute about some of the implementation of Schoology through the district. We chose to do the building implementation leads route, which means in your building you'll have a couple of folks who have been willing to give their time and come and learn a little extra on Schoology so they can bring that back to the building and share that with you. Right now we have 27 buildings who have submitted their information, and I'm sorry, I need to probably make that bigger. I'm not even thinking straight, I'm sorry. We have 27 buildings who have submitted information, and of those 27, 14 of them have had in this summer, just late summer, because this is, remember, we're in the baby stage of rollout for Schoology, so we've only had just a very short time, but we've had 14 buildings already who've had representatives come and receive just a very short training, so don't expect the world out of them. They've had a 2-hour training. And another thing I want you to keep in mind if you're ready to start using Schoology and you're excited to start putting it to work in your classroom is that we have this live chat that support. That is going to be invaluable. So we're thinking about Schoology. Yeah, I'm fired up about this. I can keep everything in one spot. We're a one-to-one district. Why would we not use this? Okay, so here would be some of your next steps. The first thing, if you're building any material, please build it in your personal resources that we briefly looked at. Something you might want to think about is after you build those resources, of course, the first thing we want to do as teachers is share it with our grade alike or content alike teachers. So you might want to go to groups and create a PLC group. Then once you've gotten that groups created, you're probably going to want to grab each teacher's want to grab their resources that they think are best and transfer those to the PLC group, which will be such a convenient way from there. They could move it straight to a course or to their own personal file. And then another thing you want to keep in mind, of course it's not urgent because not every teacher is using Schoology right now, but something to keep in mind as a vision for the future is that you want to think of what organization would best fit your campus so that your students moving around will see the same thing from class to class. It will just, add another set of efficiency, another level of efficiency to your classroom. And then don't worry about your course members. They should be there on Monday. I want to say thank you guys for your attention, and I am leaving up here the form in case you weren't able to log in or you had any extra comments or concerns as you were moving through Schoology that you want to make us aware of. Then this way it'll bring it straight to our attention. I also want to share with you that tech integration page that I showed you earlier. I am going to go ahead and put this presentation there for you in case you want to use it. And we're just going to be here for just a few more minutes. If anybody has any questions they'd like to pass along in the chat, please feel free to do so. And remember, if you have any questions or if there's anything I can help you, any technology that you're using in classroom, I would love to do that. Please just email me at lbishop@sdel.org. Thank you. Okay, so we had a question about the parent piece. That's a very important piece of communication for the Schoology. What we'll be doing is that there is, you know how I showed you that support? If you go there are pre-made letters that you can send to parents, and there is all kinds of information there. Let me just skip over there and let's just show you. Let's go to Schoology, and I'm going to scroll down to whatever page I'm on. I'm going to go straight to support, and right here in Help Center, I'm going to type in parent resources just to show you what all's available already at your fingertips. Let me see if I can get on there. All right, so here's some of the documents you can find. There's a parent letter. It gives a little information on admins how to download those parent access codes. It also tells teachers how to download those codes if they want to distribute those. Getting started in Schoology for parents. There's already some flyers you can print out. So yes, the parent piece is something that will be available, of course, but if you don't have anything for the parents to look at yet, you might want to make a parent group. Even if initially you're just sharing communication, that would be awesome. There's an app that goes along with it too, so parents can access from their app as well. Do we have any other questions? Did I answer that question to your satisfaction? Okay. And once again, oh wait, I'm not on, am I? Okay. Once again, I just got a question on my phone about getting to the tech page on our district site. One thing that I like to do on the district site sometimes is that when you enter, I just like to go down to the index of topics at the top, or else at the alphabet at the bottom, and just select a T. Whoops, I'm so sorry. No, you guys do not want to see that. I'm sorry. And get straight to the technology integration page from there. Hang on. Okay. Any more questions? Well, with Schoology and GoGuardian, I don't know that if I can be real clear on that yet. I need to do a little more research. If I can get who is asking that question and we can address that, I think I'll put some information up on our tech integration page and also on our tech page. Of course, the filter will still be running for GoGuardian, but I don't know if it sees Schoology as long as you're using only the Schoology app. I think, you know, you could lock them down just to the Schoology app, but I don't want to say that 100% for sure yet. We'll find out on that. I'm so sorry. I don't have a definitive answer for you on that one. Okay.
Is there a way to pull data from MAP, Aspire, etc. for PLCs using Schoology?
Is there a way to pull data from MAP, Aspire for PLCs? No, you would probably want to go back to our district site for that right now. That data is not in Schoology. The data that you're eventually going to want from Schoology will be that all the assignments and discussions and activities that you're producing through Schoology, if you get those mapped correctly, then you'll be able to use that data to inform your instruction at a glance.
Do parents stay with kids, and is it automatically updated each year and assigned to the classes automatically?
Do parents stay with kids, and is it automatically updated every year? And do parents stay with the students? So when you say, is it automatically updated every year, I know that your kids will have to have a different teacher and a different course.
I guess are the parents linked with the kids also?
So does their same link occur with that? That is a question, you know, School of Innovation will know that answer for us. They've used that for 3 years. I'm not sure that that they can keep the same link from year to year. We can find out on that, and I need to make a note. We'll find out. And that's another thing. If you don't get back, if you need those questions, email me too. If I've told you I haven't given you a definitive answer, you email me. I will get you one.
Teachers' rosters be loaded automatically into Schoology, or do teachers need to enter students manually?
The teacher rosters, are they loaded automatically? The answer is yes. Those will provision through eSchool. You should have them on Monday.
Will grades be posted in eSchool or be communicated into Schoology?
Will grades be posted in eSchool? Yes. You will still continue to use eSchool at this point. Your Schoology grades would be handy. It's like if you had a paper book and you were keeping your grades. It would be nice to keep all of your grades in one spot before you move them to eSchool, because this is a parent contact. So once we get to that parent contact piece, this will be great for the student. The parent can see just their student, then they can tell what grades might be missing, and they can check up on what's going on at school with their kiddo. Do we have any more questions yet? Okay, thank you guys so much. I'm sorry I didn't have some definitive answers on some of those. Please email me. I will get you an answer. And next time we'll probably start talking about building those course resources. Thank you so much. I hope the start of the year is a great one for you.